Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, October 8th, 2022 for me. Another day of social distancing. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well, staying safe. And if you haven't watched my videos previously, I was diagnosed with lupus May of 2019. Was in and out of the hospital 6 times within a 2-year period. Faced major financial crisis and went further into consumer debt in a quick period of time. Right now I'm on a journey of becoming consumer debt free and then hopefully debt free over the coming years. So what I wanted to talk about today was when is the best time to start budgeting? And a simple answer is right now, today. When I started budgeting, and this was last year, around June was when I started understanding how to budget with Brad at ZeroDebtCoach.com. Years before that, I looked into budgeting, went to other resources, and nothing really worked for me because it seemed like a lot of the budgeting strategies were geared towards families. It didn't click. What I was doing for years is keeping track of every penny that I spent, which is a part of being financially responsible and a part of budgeting, but that's not what budgeting is. So when I started budgeting last year, I remember it was towards the middle of the month, and I was asking myself, I said, well, maybe I should wait until the 1st because then I have a fresh slate. It'll be easier to start at the beginning of the month to get budgeting, and that's it just is what it is. But then I started thinking, a little bit more. I said, you know what? Why not start now? Why not start in the middle of the month? What was holding me back from doing it now? And if I had paused, if I had waited until the beginning of the next month, I may have lost momentum and decided not to continue. So went ahead and budgeted right away. Just started to get on that budgeting train, and of course, I figured out, I knew at that point what my number was, what my debt number was, and it was all consumer debt at that point. I wasn't a homeowner. So it was probably a little bit easier for me to figure out in that case. It was a lot of consumer debt, but at least I could easily identify it. I didn't have a mortgage at the time. So once I did that, I took every dollar I had in the bank, and I gave it an assignment. So I said, okay, I know I have these set bills, so let me allocate a portion of this money to those bills, and then whatever I have left, I will put in my emergency fund. And so I was actually able to get a $5,000 emergency fund relatively quickly because I had been saving up prior to budgeting. And then I want to say about 2 or 3 months into the budgeting process is when I started to accelerate my budgeting pay down. So anyway, last year I was able to pay off a little over $19,000, close to $20,000 in consumer debt. It won't be that this year because I took on a mortgage. Total debt, my goal is to pay off $15,000 of total debt. Consumer debt, it'll probably be closer to 10. Be closer to 10,000 in consumer debt, which is still, all things considered, good, but it's also at just a normal pace. It's not that I'm throwing extra money towards the consumer debt portion of it. I'm throwing the extra money towards my emergency fund because I had to rebuild that. I had a setback. this year because I had a sizable federal tax bill and a sizable state tax bill, which wiped out my emergency fund. I'm grateful that I hadn't gone backwards in my debt pay down. I've always been going forward. If I decided not to rebuild my emergency fund, there's a good chance that I could go backwards. That's why I'm very adamant about making sure that I fully fund my emergency fund. Not fully fund it. I'm going to have a baby emergency fund. And initially I was thinking that I will go for $10,000 by June of next year. But really, at this pace, it'll probably be $5,000. And if I can get $5,000 for emergency fund, I feel somewhat comfortable with continuing the acceleration of my debt pay down. But anyway, that's not really, my topic today. What I want to encourage you to do is that if you're kind of hesitating, hem-hawing, saying, well, I'm going to put off budgeting until the beginning of the month because it's a fresh start and I can see things clearly. No, don't do that. Just go ahead and do it. Start budgeting today. Get a plan. I know for certain that I would not be able to handle being a homeowner at this point, at this time of my life, because if it weren't for budgeting, it's a lot to take on, especially when you have a large consumer debt on top of that. And I'm truly grateful to have a plan, to not be overwhelmed by this responsibility, and to also keep focused on paying down that consumer debt, paying it off. My goal is to pay it off in 5 years, and I'm on target for that. It could happen maybe a little bit quicker than that, depending on the student loan situation. We'll see how that goes. It's not something I counted on or even factored in, but if that happens, that will help me quite a bit. And either way, I'm just going to pretend as if that is not even going to happen, and just press on. And even with my health challenges, get through this as best I can. So I do want to encourage you. There are going to be setbacks, whether it be financial or health, relationships, whatever. You gotta take it one moment at a time, one day at a time, and just press on. I've had a lot of challenges over the past few years, and there were times where I did feel like giving up, completely just like throwing in the towel. It's like, what's the point? I have had a setback in my career, health, of course, relationships, all that. It's just been one thing after another. But I continue to wake up each day, get up and just try to meet each goal as come across it, as check it off. So, all right, anyway, I'm going to end the video now. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You'll know when I post my next videos, and I will see you soon. I hope you take care.